and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hey.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and
remember how we spent a lot of last podcast on the WWE Pay Per View really praising the WWE for really doing a really great job and putting forth one of the best podcasts I'd seen, one of the best pay per views I'd seen in years? This is not that. Fair warning.
this show goes up on a Tuesday. This shit happens Sunday night. And while I'm sure we've got more to say than we think we do, I don't want to focus entirely on...
No, we're going to do the card in order like we usually do.
Yeah.
I've got praise for things that happened. I also have things to say.
So let's begin, shall we? With, honestly, what was a phenomenal match. Probably match of the night. Yeah.
Oh, I would say that's not even close.
I was excited about a couple of other things, but this is definitely a match of the night.
Yeah. I believe halfway through their match, I made a joke that would take too long to explain. I'm sorry about that. But the crux of it was essentially, imagine being the poor motherfuckers who have to follow this.
There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 poor motherfuckers.
And none of them got within boot-touching distance of this match tonight. Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks put on one hell of a Hell in a Cell match. Just excellent work all around. Good storytelling, good spots, good payoff to the feud. There's nothing for me to criticize about that match.
No, that's exactly what you want out of a Hell in a Cell match where they don't leave the cell.
They even left the cell.
Well,
before the match started.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. Where they don't leave the cell toward the end of the match.
I have nothing to criticize about that match.
No.
That was done incredibly well. They made good use of the cell. They made excellent use of the cell. By far the best use of it all night.
From a storytelling booking point, I don't know that I would have had Becky walk away with the victory here.
I understand why they did. She's the new face of the video game. They're really pushing her. And she's over as fuck.
I feel like it's a little gut check for Sasha Banks as well. No, I have not watched her media spin piece about why we should all like her.
I don't intend to, just so we're clear.
Look,
I might not be her biggest fan, but I can recognize when someone puts in the fucking work.
Oh, yeah, this match
whether this match was like Macho Man level planned out, or they just have the most absurd ring chemistry I've seen in years, this was a fucking barn burner.
And boy, did it burn it down.
Like, there's not much to say, unfortunately, because me heaping praise on these two for like the next 15 minutes isn't... It's just me repeating myself over.
No, there is something to say. Because we all know the inverted stack of this card. Don't let the efforts of one idiot's decisions for the main event of this pay-per-view
erase what was, until that exact moment, a decent pay-per-view.
With a phenomenal opener.
Yeah, a phenomenal opener. None of the other matches were... I don't think I can say a match was bad. There was one match I was completely bored by.
Yeah, there were some boring ones, but they weren't bad.
For me, it was only the one match that just bored the shit out of me, but all the other matches on the card were at least minimum good. Some of them I don't know why they were there, but they were good. Mm-hmm. And the fucking opener, the actual proper opener, again, we don't watch the pre-show, it was fucking excellent. It was an excellent wrestling match. That bit where they propped a chair up on kendo sticks for a spot, that was cool as shit. I've never seen that spot before, and I've watched every Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah. I'd suggest watching the match. Y'all are still roped into the network for the remainder of your subscriptions, at the very least. So,
not if you look at Twitter. There are a lot of people who tossed that money right in the garbage last night.
Yeah, but they let it ride until, they don't stop you from watching now. Although I must say, small aside, for as terrible and evil as Amazon is in general, they let me cancel my Amazon Prime extra subscription, and they refunded the remainder of the month.
Yeah, Amazon, they're not good to their employees. They're good to their customers.
They do give me a lot of free shit. I just have other subscriptions I'm interested in.
Same, but I'm keeping Amazon Prime for now for Twitch Prime.
Yeah, I got a lot of mileage out of that. Back to the WWE. Our next contest was a fine match. I wasn't as invested in it as I thought it was going to be, and maybe it was just prescience on the outcome.
I mean, yeah, you look at the lineup, and they did an excellent job building up Eric Rowan and Luke Harper as legitimate contenders who could beat Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan in the same ring, which says a lot. They've built a lot of it throughout the weeks. The video package was really good. It sold them really strong, and in the match, they were sold as legitimately on top for most of the runtime of that match. Mm-hmm. But they were never going to win.
I kind of thought maybe they were, like, it was possible. And that's good booking. I felt like it was possible for any of the competitors to win the match. That's what you want.
Basically, yeah.
And it's the same thing with Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sure I would have had Becky win, but it's not like it's a catastrophe or anything.
No, I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been upset really if Sasha had won. It would have made sense. Sasha wins here, and then Becky gets the title back after chasing for a while. That would make sense. Give her that Stone Cold was always better chasing the belt energy.
But we're talking about the Tornado Tag match, obviously. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns went over by beating Luke Harper, the weaker member of the duo.
Yep. And who got the pin? It was Roman, right?
I think so,
yeah. So they didn't do a direct resolution to either real feud.
I feel like this could keep going.
Rowan versus Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Reigns. Harper has been, I'm sure the guy's just happy to be on TV, but he's been Rowan's tag team partner more than he's been his own force. Whereas Rowan has really come to the fore, which is good because previously in their tag team it was the other way around when they were their own thing.
Yeah.
Which, I like that. And so Rowan not taking the fall there is a good shout. Mm-hmm. It's a good call. And I hadn't seen a Tornado Tag match in a long time. It was super fun.
I hope this goes to Survivor Series.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, you could build a Survivor Series team around these guys, but also you could keep these guys off to the side and make a team without them, and both are good calls.
Yeah, sure, same.
Because I think they'll really hype up Survivor Series this year because they're really hyping up the feud again between SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
They're doing another draft. They're hyping up that they're on different networks owned by different people. Like, that's good. That's good storytelling. It's taking advantage of real life to work the smarks. That's that second layer of kayfabe.
Next match, and this is a complaint I have about a couple of matches on this card.
2 specifically for me.
Yeah, I guess it was just 2. There were no stakes to this. Now, I understand that they didn't have the full card finished until a couple hours before Hell in a Cell, or at least publicly finished.
Yeah. We're talking about Ali versus Randy Orton, for the record. For no reason. For nothing.
Ali wanted to, and Randy Orton was available. I would have rather had a lesser title match on here.
Yeah, put an Intercontinental title match or a U.S. title match on this. Or there was a U.S. title match, wasn't there?
No. Just the U.S. champion was doing stuff.
Was in a 6-man
amazing
match.
Stuff.
Yeah, it was a great match. But, just put me in an Intercontinental title match or, is there a women's tag team match?
Yeah.
Women's tag team title match?
There sure was. It follows this.
I guess, really, the Intercontinental title is the only one that wasn't... Maybe... Do they still have a Cruiserweight title? I honestly don't know.
It's on NXT now, and they haven't done 3-brand integration just yet. Randy Orton beat Ali. Ali looked really good. Great counter to an RKO.
That I hadn't seen before, which was fun. Having seen so many goddamn RKOs.
If Ali had beat Randy Orton, I feel like that would have made its place on a pay-per-view make sense. Here, in the public eye of your greatest viewership base, is...
You making a new star.
Yeah, is Ali rising. But Randy Orton won, and...
Randy Orton won. It's to get Randy Orton's heat on point after losing to Kofi 3 times in a row.
Sure, but defeating, with all due respect, a kayfabe scrub like Ali...
It was a good match, and I'm sure it will prove to increase Ali's cachet in the universe because he did, he had a real honest shot of winning that match, and it looked like it.
It depends on what they do with him once SmackDown
going forward.
around.
Yeah. Then again, as I said, they could be playing the long game. Maybe this is just set up for Ali versus Randy Orton for the WWE title 10 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. I was a little confused by it, and like a lot of matches on this card, the ending was a bit not what I would have done, but whatever.
The match itself was good.
Yeah, it was solid.
Entertaining, well wrestled.
Good wrestling.
I like Ali's outfit.
Also, Randy Orton maybe should have lost that match. He's in some hot water.
God, what did you do now, Randall?
Pulled a streamer gaff.
Oh, had himself a heated gamer moment, did he?
The streamer gaff.
Oh, a heated gaming moment from Randy Orton.
Somewhere backstage, Hulk Hogan. Not a good look, brother.
He said the gamer word, everybody.
Oh, Randall Keith.
Randall!
I'm honestly, I found that out after the fact, and I was really surprised that WWE went through with this. Although, honestly, I'm sure
it's not gonna fucking touch Randy Orton.
No.
Randy Orton is a shitty dude. He's always been a shitty dude. He is somehow paradoxically over regardless. He's an excellent wrestler who is immune to social consequences, as near as I've ever been able to tell.
He is the ultimate bully. I am both disgusted by him and proud of him.
Basically, yeah, like Voldemort is not going to get in trouble for saying the gamer word. It's fine.
He can say Mudblood as much as he wants.
That's right!
The match that I popped like crazy for, which features 3 women I'm super fond of, and Kairi Sane, who is Kairi Sane.
And thus excellent.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defending their tag titles against Asuka and Kairi Sane.
This was a really fun match that I actually had trouble with because I didn't know who to root for.
Yeah.
I wanted everyone to win. Everyone gets to be champion. Shush. I like all these people. Why must one lose? And it was super fun, and they had a really cool match. They had really cool dynamics. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have a really fun dynamic. They have like a really fun, they're just friends. It doesn't have to make sense to you. They like each other. Fuck you. Dynamic. And I love Nikki Cross, and I love Alexa Bliss, and I, of course, have mentioned, I believe as I saw Asuka and Kairi Sane coming out, I said 3 times that the WWE are war criminals for what they've done to Asuka's push, and for just not booking Kairi Sane well ever. And this may begin to make things right, because the Kabuki Warriors went over, great name, by the way, and they are now the women's tag team champions.
I think the Poison Mist really tied the Kabuki Warriors name together.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it was the bow on top.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this match again. I don't want this to be a one-off. I want a rematch next pay-per-view between these two teams.
Oh, what if Alexa Bliss did Pink Mist?
Yes!
That's the thing I marked out about. Asuka whips out the fucking green mist. And the announcers sell it like green mist. Announcers
sell it like, whoa, what's going on? But they sell it like someone has been murdered. Perfect.
Well, and that they didn't talk about... They use the old Japanese terminology of it being summoned up from deep inside them. Not anything more mundane. I at least appreciate WWE being able to lean on the fantasy of wrestling again.
Well, in the pure post-kayfabe world we're living in, we're going to see more of that, I think.
It's fucking time. It's been past time.
We all know. We all know. Calm down. Just, there's no scene, there's no sidebar in Game of Thrones where the actor playing fucking Samwell Tarly turns to the camera and goes, of course, there's not really dragons, but Daenerys likes to think there's dragons. It gives her fighting spirit. That doesn't fucking happen! There are just dragons, they shoot fire.
Gotta be careful, Sam. The Night King's got a lot of momentum going into this contest.
God, it was terrible wrestling booking.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
No, the Kabuki Warriors going over is fantastic. I'm really glad they got a victory. I'm really glad they have the women's tag team titles.
Hey,
I hope this means they're going to do something with them.
Could you do me a favor, though? Just a very small request stuff. Fucking give them music!
Yeah.
Stop with that Asuka's theme for just long enough for you to get into it, switching to Kairi Sane's theme for just long enough for you to get into it, and then back to Asuka's theme. It's just... annoying. It's not even like unsettling. It's just annoying. It just pisses me off.
Here's my biggest complaint about it. Because they do this for other wrestlers too, but they also have no problem whipping up a really great remix of Baron Corbin's theme to make it sound kingly.
Yeah.
All you have to do is make Asuka's theme sound a little piratey, and we're done.
Yeah, that's it. Or make fucking Kairi Sane theme sound more Asuka-y. I don't care.
Or make Dolph Ziggler's theme sound glorious. You can do something with this crap. You don't, though. You do this weird half and half thing, and
I hate
terrible.
it. It's awful. Sometimes the music's mixed together well. Sometimes you have like a really strong chorus and a really strong verse from each song, so you can mix them together, and it actually sounds really cool. This is not one of those times.
No, it's so whiplashy. This is probably the worst I've heard of it since they started doing this.
I doubt they're the champion, so get them some music, goddammit.
Speaking of that United States Championship...
You can have it open with that, like, the classic kabuki sound effect.
Sure, yeah. The
yaoi.
Yeah.
And then with the 3 fucking drum beats.
Do all kinds of cool stuff that they're not doing. So, we had... was that how that match ended? I didn't realize. Yeah, no, I remember now. The OC... disqualified themselves against the Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman.
Because 8 minutes into the match, they decided that winning the match was less important than beating up Braun Strowman.
Which is in keeping with their characters.
Yes. Look, they are as it was, let's say, the only club that matters. The original club. The official.
I liked this match a lot. I'm not sure I've ever seen the Viking Raiders in action. I've seen them in the games. I've heard them talked about. But
this is the other match that felt like it didn't have stakes, but that's just because we don't watch week to week. From what I understand from the announcers, these guys have been fighting week to week for a while now. It's just that they didn't really do a build-up package like they did with the other stuff, and I don't watch week to week, so I felt no stakes for this.
Well, and like whatever back and forth they've had has been so unimportant that even when I'm reading reviews of Raw and SmackDown or listening to them,
it just doesn't come up.
Yeah, I've missed it. It whizzed by me. But I like this match. Well-wrestled match.
For the 8 minutes it existed.
Yeah. And I loved the bit afterward where AJ Styles was so knocked the fuck out.
God damn, yeah. Kudos to AJ Styles for committing to a fucking bit so hard. Braun Strowman knocked him out because Braun Strowman's fighting with the big boxer of the moment. So they're doing the wrestlers can punch good too. We should do Brawl for All again in back of Vince's head. But he knocked out AJ Styles, and then AJ Styles proceeded to do the funniest goddamn, like, oh, I'm on spaghetti legs bit. The whole, like, he got up, he fell down,
But, like, it was just serious and realistic enough.
That it wasn't like Santino Marella was doing
right,
it. That's why it was funny. If it had been like R-Truth doing it, it would have been hacky and boring. Because it's AJ Styles just committing so hard to shoving Luke Gallows away. I'm fine! And then he takes a step and fucking starts to fall over.
Talking about how fine he is and then pulling the referee into helping him to the back. That was Roddy Piper level heel work.
It was just perfect. Honestly, it was just A+ work. I really loved it. Good job, Mr. Style Man.
Yeah.
You may have all the fruit snacks.
He made the fruit snack face several times. I was so pleased.
I fucking love this. It's so powerful. It's such a powerful expression.
Now this match had stakes. This next one here, King Corbin versus Chad Gable.
I love my favorite manager.
He's
the manager of that Applebee's now. He's the king. He's King Corbin. But I swear to you, because of how Manager Corbin dresses, and because of the person he was fighting, the entire match, every time they were standing next to each other, my brain just went, the Chad Gable and the Virgin Corbin. He's even got like slope shoulders and like he walked kind of downward with a downward pointing face. And if I was better at art, I would have absolutely drawn that and put it online, and Chad Gable would have retweeted it.
I wasn't really into this match. Like, I'm happy for Chad Gable, and I think the wrestling was pretty good. But as much as like this
is the same gimmick. This is the same gimmick Corbin has had.
Yeah.
Since 2014.
Man is small, and he just like.
He's just triggered by people shorter than him. Anyone shorter than him, it makes him upset that they're there, and he'd like it if they weren't there. Like, that is just, it's been his gimmick.
This just in, King Corbin wants to be baby.
Like, I genuinely, I don't know. I don't remember when he came to the main roster. It was years ago at this point.
Yeah, it's been a while ago.
And he's had the same gimmick the whole time. That's been his gimmick the whole time. He keeps going back to, you're not very tall. I'm very tall. Fuck you.
I think when he first showed up, he had, he was like a cool badass. Like he was a face.
Like he was a mercenary.
But that didn't last for long.
And it's a good gimmick. Don't get me wrong. It's a good gimmick. But it's not the Iron Sheik. You can't do it for your whole career.
Yeah, I much prefer the manager of the Applebee's. Let's go back to that.
Yeah, can he just be the manager of it? He didn't make a million short jokes at Seth Rollins, and he's noticeably taller than Seth Rollins. Just please go back to being the manager of an Applebee's. You're the king now. You're the manager now. You've gotten your promotion. You did it. Celebrate.
I like Chad Gable, had big Crash Holly energy. The haircut helps a lot.
On account of being the same size and shape of Crash Holly.
Well, I like his facial expressions and his
new haircut.
Yeah, his haircut and his unfettered enthusiasm. Looks like they're going to be continuing this feud. I hope something comes out of it more than, gosh, you sure are short, and Chad's response of, okay.
Lol, but who lost, though?
Yes, and? Speaking of other stuff that happened backstage, congratulations to Tamina for that title victory.
Yeah, her first in WWE, I believe you said.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to say. I wouldn't know. I don't keep track of those things very well. But wow, it lasted her all of part of the night.
Yeah.
She was 24/7 champion for 35 minutes?
I'd like for them to do something a little more high stakes with the 24/7 title.
I mean, from what I understand, they just do a bunch of shit with it on all the TV shows.
Yeah, there's a bunch of skits and stuff. I would just like to see something a bit more... what's the word I'm looking for? Presented. Like, I think the last time we had a really good 24/7 thing was when... there was that whole car switcheroo with Drake Maverick and his wife and the title. Like, that felt big.
Like, it's obviously just a little, like a refresher, you know? It's just...
yeah, it's just some comedy, you know.
A palate cleanser between matches. The Street Profits continuing their 3-month streak of not having a match on the card, but having we're going to do a bit with the Street Profits on the card.
Been since WrestleMania, my guy.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So longer.
Yeah.
And great. They're almost all funny. Sometimes they're a little cringe, but they're almost all funny. And this one was no exception. It was funny.
I had a really good time watching it. I like them a lot. They don't even need to wrestle. I'd like to see them, sure.
I'd like to see them wrestle, but...
they ain't gotta.
No.
But that brings us to Charlotte Flair versus Bayley.
This was the match that bored me. I don't think the wrong person won. It makes sense for Charlotte Flair to win here, because if Bayley's going to complete her heel turn... like, I really like what they're doing, where she still acts like a face, but doesn't, though. Like, she presents as someone who would be a face and then does shitty things. I like that, but if she's going to complete a heel turn, she needed this. There was that moment after the match where...
that they lingered on way too fucking long.
Yeah, they lingered on it too long, but like 30 to 20 less seconds of that would have been perfect. The line, why does this always have to happen to me? It was really good. I really want this to be a positive experience ultimately for Bayley. I want her to go forward with like a small character shift. I really like the role model gimmick, but it made sense that Charlotte Flair went over here.
My only issue is that I don't buy Charlotte as a face, period. And I have no investment. I don't think
they were selling Charlotte as a face. They were selling Charlotte as Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
They are pretty clearly trying to position Charlotte Flair as Ric Flair. as
sure.
as the lionest, cheatingest, dirtiest player in the game who you love anyway.
I don't love her, though.
No,
I think this
I don't
is
either.
finally the pay-per-view where I realized you've just lost my buy-in, Charlotte. I don't care for you. I don't like you in matches. I don't like you at all. Nothing personnel, kid, but I'm not interested.
She's just run out of chances for you.
Yeah, she made a really big impression back in NXT, and then she's basically done nothing but disappoint or meet expectations. And it's not the latter very often.
It's been mostly the former.
Yes.
She hasn't quite run out of chances for me. Not quite. But I totally understand that. I can totally sympathize with. You're just not as good as I know you can be often enough for me to give a shit about you.
Yeah. Now, I will say that they've got better chemistry. Personally speaking, in terms of character, I would have loved to see Alexa Bliss in this match, but I would have been more bored by the contest than I already was because Alexa Bliss and Bayley suck in the ring together.
Alexa Bliss and Bayley have as much ring chemistry as The Rock and John Cena.
Yeah.
I love The Rock. I love John Cena. Please don't let them wrestle any more matches. No one needs it. I like Bayley a lot. I love Alexa Bliss. Please don't make them wrestle any more matches. They're very bad.
I would have rather had a different character. Honestly, Becky Lynch here would have been better, really. I think the promos would have been good, and Becky's over as hell as a face.
Charlotte and Sasha have a much more natural, storied ongoing rivalry.
Mm-hmm, they really do. I didn't think of that until just now, but that would have been a really good switch.
Because Charlotte and Sasha are the story. They are Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
Right, yeah.
And Becky Lynch would have been better positioned as the badass, no nonsense, but still definite good guy to Bayley's shitty, smarmy heel. You're right. That definitely would have been a positive change for both.
Yeah, just cleaner. Just quality of life kind of thing.
But, unfortunately, WWE doesn't plan that far in advance, so...
and I can get wanting to shake things up and have things different. We have seen a lot of Charlotte versus Sasha.
Yeah, is there a universe where they did that, and then we're just bitching that it's another Charlotte versus Sasha match?
I'm sure there is, no doubt.
I know myself. I feel like I would have just whined a bit that it was Charlotte versus Sasha.
Especially if both women phoned it in, as they so often do when they're unhappy.
And they maybe just don't like wrestling each other that much anymore.
Maybe.
Because Sasha Banks certainly didn't fucking phone it in her match.
No, she did phenomenal.
And that's the thing. If you'd asked me the night of, as it was happening, this would be the only match I would say was a bad match on the card. But with a little time to cool down, especially with what comes after. No, the match itself was fine. I just didn't give a shit. That's on me, not on them.
Well, we've put it off for long enough.
The main event of 2019's Hell in a Cell was a Hell in a Cell match, as you might expect, between Seth Rollins, the champion, the Strawberry title, and The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, otherwise known as the most over thing in the Federation that everyone loves and cheers, and is the thing that has been the most refreshing and exciting and well-booked thing in maybe 2 years minimum, probably a lot longer, but I'm being conservative. They had themselves a Hell in a Cell match. And White Raven, I have a question.
What's up, my guy?
If you had to name 3 important facts about a Hell in a Cell match, any 3 randomly, what do you think would be the 3 important facts about a Hell in a Cell match that would come to you?
I see where you're going with this, and I'm not going to stop you shine. I'm going to go along with this bit. But I've had some time to refine my opinion. But I would like for you to get your truth out there. So I would say the 3 most important parts of a Hell in a Cell match. A, it takes place within a cell.
Yes.
Without the cell, you've just got a hell match, and aren't they all? B, there are no disqualifications. I believe that is the hell of the Hell in a Cell match. Otherwise, it's just a wrestling match in a cage match, if you will. C, it's over the top.
Now, if you had a if you had a Hell in a Cell match, and it fulfilled 2 of those 3 criterion, 2 of the 3, do you think you'd be happy about that match?
Theoretically.
Well, I feel like maybe one of those criterion was a little bit more crucial than the other 2.
For those of you who don't know, I will say in brief what occurred during this Hell in a Cell
Please
match.
do. I couldn't say it briefly if I tried.
Super brief. They wrestled a pretty good match for about 5 minutes.
It was 10.
Was it?
It was 10.
Full 10? Well, okay, they wrestled a pretty good match until Seth Rollins hit his 4th curb stomp in a row. And then the bottom fell out. And
he went to Curb Stomp City. He ended the match at 14 curb stomps, just so we're counting.
And then he threw all kinds of weapons at him and
did an unprotected chair shot to Bray Wyatt's head. Tried to kill him with a toolbox. Tried to kill him with a ladder and a chair at the same time. And then he went one step too far for that referee's preferences, and he attempted homicide for the 4th time in the match. Not that curb stomping someone isn't an attempted homicide, because let's be real, it is. By taking a sledgehammer, that most verboten and rare of weapons in the WWE, the sledgehammer. Certainly there hasn't been a very important multiple-time world champion who made his entire career off the idea of using a sledgehammer. Certainly not! That hasn't been a thing. And he hit a toolbox that was on a ladder that had a chair in it that was on top of Bray Wyatt. So there were maybe 6 layers of metal armor between Bray Wyatt and the sledgehammer. This is, of course, beyond the pale of even a no disqualification match, and thus the match had to be thrown out. That's the official. It wasn't a DQ. It was a no contest. It was a referee pushed out.
I was given an inkling that this kind of stupidity may have happened. And thus, its impact was lessened for me in the moment.
That's the thing. I'm not really mad about this.
No, but in the moment...
fucking baffled!
Sure. In the moment, however, emotions always run high. And while mine weren't running that high, with roughly 14 hours of clarity, and thought and time and consideration, reading other people's opinions of what went down on both sides, interestingly, although those on the side of Mr. McMahon are kind of small. What happened after the shot was that refs came in and tried to help Bray. Then Bray proved he was fine, mandible clawed Seth Rollins, took him on the outside, hit him with a couple Sister Abigails, one on the unprotected concrete, another mandible claw, and...
on the unprotected concrete, which they sold for some reason.
And...
that's cold, I guess.
Seth Rollins had the blood from the mouth.
Which would have been fine if he hadn't ended it with, like, a full-on third-grader dying tongue lolling out.
But, anyway, I think there's definitely room in a Hell in a Cell match for referee stoppage. I have personally booked, in eFeds and otherwise, Hell in a Cell-like matches that have ended on referee stoppage.
It being referee stoppage officially and not a DQ does make it a whole lot better.
Even if it was a disqualification.
No, that is a violation of the fundamental principle of the match.
My complaint, I feel, is you didn't go far enough.
Yeah, like, to qualify a disqualification in a no disqualification match, Seth Rollins would have had to, like, taken out a gun or, like, Abyss's nail bat and tried to actually kill Bray Wyatt.
I mean, even then, okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, after the sledgehammer from hell, the ref is beside himself, doesn't know what to do, Seth goes for the pin, gets a mighty 2 count out of it this time. And then Bray Wyatt freaks out, shows he's invincible, and Seth suddenly has internal bleeding from a mandible claw. They bust out of the cell, they do the same series of spots, it's just that there wasn't a stretcher, there wasn't a bullshit ending. There is Seth Rollins laying on the ground, bleeding from the mouth.
That's the other important thing about referee stoppage, and this is something that WWE doesn't do and has never done. That is wrong, in my opinion. If you end the match via referee stoppage, whoever got the referee to stop the match wins.
Well, I mean, I think it doesn't matter. I think the thing they're putting over with referee stoppage here, which is fine, is that the match is thrown out. This match doesn't count. You guys have done a stupid, you've gone too far, this stopped being wrestling. But the thing is, it didn't stop being wrestling. Yes, in real life, you shouldn't use a sledgehammer on someone. However, we are within a company who is so proud of their heritage that they will remind you all the time of all the times Triple H used a sledgehammer to kill a motherfucker. That's the whole reason it is considered A, a weapon for optional use in the WWE, and B, as powerful as it is. It is Mjolnir because Thor wielded it.
Basically, yeah.
So, in using a sledgehammer at all, and never mind the fact, I mean, this is still kayfabe stupid and out of kayfabe stupid, that it was perfectly fine for Bray Wyatt to hit Seth Rollins with a giant mallet, not 5 minutes beforehand.
A giant, big clown mallet. I love it, by the way. But, look, at the end of the day, this was stupid on many levels.
Yes.
Both because there was a DQ and a no DQ in a no DQ match that literally the first match of has some of the most vicious, brutal moments in WWE history.
Sasha Banks flying at the brace between the chair legs was some of the most asshole tightening wrestling I've seen.
God, right?
Like, it's just one of those things where, yeah, it's pretty safe, but if you fuck that up
at all, you die. If Sasha Banks fucks up that move where she gets thrown, presumably face and neck first, into the metal bar between those chair legs, if you fuck up that move at all, you die. You know how I know? Rey Mysterio killed a guy basically doing the same thing.
And he feels very bad about that.
I'm not trying to bag on Rey Mysterio. It's just really fucking dangerous what these people do. And it's to have that be fine, and then to have what is, like, objectively, IRL, probably not that bad, swinging a sledgehammer, like, it probably stung. I guarantee Bray didn't enjoy that.
It probably hurt like a motherfucker, but you know who's still alive today? IRL after taking the bump? Bray Wyatt.
Basically, and it's, like, that's one reason. That's one reason it's stupid. The other reason it's stupid is that this match shouldn't have happened. If Bray Wyatt, if The Fiend wasn't going to win this match, you shouldn't have booked it.
Yeah, and everything that's happened since, and all of the bookings that have been confirmed for Crown Jewel, the pay-per-view we will be not watching.
I'm just not watching that.
It's not out of, like, weird saltiness, we just don't watch.
No, I just don't watch Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not interested.
No.
You don't need me to watch it. You make all your money off the people paying for the event. You don't care if fans watch it because the whole event is for a Saudi prince.
Well, and like half of it isn't actually real storyline stuff anyway.
No, it's only dubiously canon anyway, so who gives a fuck?
All of the setup for the past week that has made WWE so interesting, all of the really big moments from Raw and SmackDown, these new big debuts, and it just feels kind of...
It sucks the wind out of the sails.
Well, especially because that big match between Brock Lesnar and his opponent is happening at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, it makes Hell in a Cell feel like an advertisement for Crown Jewel.
Yeah, the big match between Braun Strowman and Punchy McPuncherson
is happening at Crown Jewel.
The big Hulk Hogan Ric Flair Survivor Series match is happening at Crown Jewel.
Yeah. So it makes the rest of your pay-per-views and shows feel like an advertisement for a show that I don't plan on watching, which makes me like the show less.
I mean, yeah, we had matches on the card that didn't really have stakes, and yeah, there's been a bit of a feud between the OC and the Viking Experience, or whatever the fuck they are now.
The Viking Warriors, but I like the Viking Experience a lot better.
That was what they first showed up with. Viking Raiders. Are they
who knows?
I don't fucking know.
Who cares?
This isn't a bit. I'm really sad that this isn't a fucking bit. This isn't even me about, like, and obviously this is the conclusion. Yes, definitely I like Seth Rollins a hell of a lot, or less than Bray Wyatt. I think he's a shitty person, and I don't really like him as an entertainer, and I'm tired of his goose voice. Not to the extreme degree that I dislike a lot of other wrestlers, in and out of character, I would have rather had Bray Wyatt go over here, but it's not about that.
Yeah, no, it's not. Look, of course I like The Fiend more than Seth Rollins. Look at The Fiend. Of course I like The Fiend more than Seth Rollins. What the fuck? Yes! I'm not gonna hide that. I'm not burying that lead. But that's not why he should have gone over. He should have gone over because he's a monster, he's hot, he's new, and if you're gonna put him in that match, you need to fucking win it, otherwise you're just gonna Ryback him.
Well, and the thing is, in hindsight, I have figured out a lot of other ways. I just mentioned one, that this match could have gone down on a non-finish that would have been fine.
Wouldn't have been as dumb.
If they had replicated the Mankind spot, a spot that they have celebrated but spent so much time in their peripheral programming talking about how that was bad and no one should ever do that again.
Too far.
Replicate that spot.
And then end the match.
And then go, oh God, no, we can't do this. Remember how hurt Mick Foley got. And then have Mick Foley on there later because they're best friends again, talking about how, yeah, it was a bad spot. You know, I'm really worried about Seth Rollins, blah, blah, blah. Do that. There's so many ways you could have done this match that wouldn't have been so cartoonishly stupid. Like, this match was Homer and the Flying Pig. I know it's become my favorite fucking reference, but Bray Wyatt comes out and his red lights don't go away. And it looks pretty cool. It gets you some cool camera shots, but that red light was a red flag.
Yeah. It's just a little hokey. It's still good. It's still good.
Yeah, and then cameramen were out of place to the point that Bray has to yell at them.
To get the hell out of the way.
Uh-oh.
It's just a little unplanned. It's still good. It's still good.
And then the whole match stopped so Seth Rollins could bury his own finisher.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is this buries the shit out of Seth Rollins. One, his finisher is a joke now. He did 14 of his finisher to a motherfucker, and the pedigree, and a chair shot, and it did less than nothing.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that we are living in a world where both the sledgehammer shot and the however many, I don't care if it's 3, I don't care if it's 52 curb stomps, mean less to a person watching the show who is not a child than that protected pedigree getting kicked out of and the unprotected chair shot getting kicked out of.
Because those felt like big moments. Like, him kicking out of 7 or 8 curb stomps, literally I didn't react. He kicked out of an unprotected chair shot, and I went, wow. Like, that meant something. And it buries the shit out of Seth Rollins. It doesn't make Bray Wyatt look strong. It makes Seth Rollins look weak.
And it makes the integrity of the story look weak. I talk about wanting to see that fantasy booking. I want to see Asuka use the mist. I want to see the lights go off and Bray and Seth are on top of the cell somehow. I want to see that kind of shit. And yeah, let the guy take a couple finishers. I feel like the stuff with Brock and the stuff with Braun Strowman was pushing the line with the number of curb stomps.
Yeah,
but
like
at the end of the day,
5, fine.
Sure,
they're Braun
okay.
Strowman, they're Brock Lesnar.
And the Fiend had taken 4 or 5, fine. But once we got
14
past
is too
that
many.
point, once it started to get ridiculous, it just pushes the suspension of disbelief too hard.
And it buries Bray's character to a certain extent. He comes out of this looking the best.
Sure.
It buries the shit out of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is now the most virulent heel in the WWE. If you don't think he's going to walk out tonight, on Monday, because we recorded this before Monday Night Raw, if you don't think he's going to walk out to the loudest boos since Roman beat The Undertaker, you are fucking delusional.
I am desperately curious to see what the fuck they do. I mean, this is all a Vince McMahon thing. If the report from Fightful specifically, so, you know, hey, Billy. If the reports are to be believed, then this was a Vince McMahon decision, and Vince was laughing at the crowd reaction after the show.
Yeah, Vince doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't.
Vince doesn't give a fuck if the crowd's mad. He wanted it to happen because he doesn't like Bray Wyatt.
Or he thought this would sell Bray Wyatt as a monster, or he thought this was a good way to build toward a bigger pay-per-view with a bigger buy rate.
Watch Crown Jewel.
Sure, whatever. Whatever your reasoning is, Vince, I don't care. It was still a dumb decision. And the timing of it is especially tone-deaf and stupid. You know, you guys had some big moments on Raw and SmackDown. Great viewership, great stuff there. You also closed out Raw with the debut of your second character, a returning superstar who a lot of fans have been really missing, with his new gimmick, Second Cuck. the second cuck on the Raw roster.
Who are you talking about?
Rusev.
What?
Lana's fucking Bobby Lashley now.
That's his gimmick?
Motherfucker's been back for 2 weeks. First week he came out, the rumor come out, Rusev, bad rumor, he has been fucking the other cuck's wife. No, that bad rumor is not true. But Lana has been apparently fucking, I don't know, someone said the word cuck near Vince, or called Vince, fan did too many times, and Vince goes, "What's a cuck?" And someone made the mistake of telling him, and he went, "Ha ha ha ha, line me up wrestlers, that's their gimmick now."
The next 4 wrestlers I see, that will be their gimmick.
Your wife doesn't love you, and you think that's cool. What? And as much as I am okay with Kofi Kingston dropping the belt, and understand why for financial reasons they put Brock Lesnar in that position.
Yeah, they're trying to make draw on their new Fox program.
Yes. I don't care for it out of character, but you gave the man a good, healthy run.
He took 6 months.
At least...
And it took fucking Goku. It took Brock Lesnar to beat him.
That's stupid. I don't agree with the position
he did it in fucking 9 seconds, and that upsets me.
I don't agree with the position we put Brock Lesnar in, but this is how you do things. I would be a fool to be surprised.
Yeah, once I heard he was fighting Brock, it was kind of all she wrote.
That was the writing on the wall. But
you know what's going to happen there. One of you is Brock Lesnar, the other is Kofi Kingston. I think we all see what's going to happen here.
I just... That was fine, but now you guys are...
Just royally fucking up the main event of your other show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the ending of Raw, the overall course of Raw, was the beginning of the it's just a little blank, it's still good. We've been riding high for a while. It's about time we hit a dip. But I'm not out here canceling my WWE Network subscription.
No, not at all. This was a shitty pay-per-view. But
it was an okay
show. Pay-per-view with an end so bad it drags the whole pay-per-view down.
Yes.
But I'm not canceling my subscription.
No. We are, however, looking into AEW, which you can watch for free on the TNT app online.
Yeah, turns out, to steal a joke from Ron White, of all people, I'm a good dog. But if you don't pet me once in a while, it's kind of hard to keep me under the porch. I haven't bothered to look at AEW till now, because I was happy with my WWE experience. Well, Vince, you have bought AEW one view at least, and if it goes super well, it might go poorly for you. Not that you care. You don't make money from fans anymore. You make money from Saudi princes now. And I respect that you have to get your paper. But that doesn't mean I have to stick around.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I like a lot of the wrestlers in WWE. I'll keep buying their games. I'm very excited for 2K20. But at the same time, where do you think future media creators UPSETTI is going? They're no longer the 2K franchisee. They no longer have while 2K is still using their engine, they're not making the games anymore. They have been working on a, quote, non-competitive game to keep the programmers fresh. That's not a WWE game. They had been doing that for most of the year, they had announced.
I wonder what that might be.
Yeah, I wonder. Suddenly somebody else has a lot of foreign money to throw around, and, well, let's look at those NXT ratings, shall we?
So, one way or another, you'll probably get more wrestling podcasts in the future.
Yeah.
But I think we're done here.
Unless you decide to rise from the ashes and open up a pop can suddenly.
I'm always listening. Everything's better when nerds talk about it. Fuck it!